Hello everyone, this is Lucy05 and welcome to the Global Command Central Toy Review, and today is a video request by Auto69 who requested to see a video review on the Red Skull figure. So I'm sorry for the delay. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Today we'll be doing the 2006 release by ToyBiz on the Marvel Legends action figure on the Face Off series involving Captain America versus the Red Skull or the Baron Strucker chase figure. Now, I don't actually own the actual packaging for it, so I don't have Captain America and I don't have the diorama and the base stand for these figures. I bought these figures loose. And let's take a look at Red Skull first. Red Skull actually came with a sword accessory, but I don't have the accessory, so I don't mind about that. Basically, the sword and the entire design for this Red Skull here is the same, well, look for the Marvel Comics appearance, where on one hand, this hand was holding the sword and the other hand was grabbing hold of Captain America's mask. It was very nicely drawn, and the entire design for this figure itself, the uniform he's wearing, this sort of suit, this power suit to match up with Captain America's strength and agility and whatsoever. Now the entire design itself is very nicely done, and the paint job, well, the paint job is very good, except for some parts. The belt buckle itself, as you can see, the silver here is smudged by the gray paint. I'm not too sure if that's intentional, I don't know, but there are a very little bit of red paint job smeared a little bit here at the bottom part of the belt buckle. But the rest of the figure itself, the paint job is very good, because I don't see any other paint smudges except for the belt buckle there. Even the face itself is nicely painted. As you can see, the eyes are inside the eye sockets. You can see the yellow eyes, and each of the individual tooth is also painted, and the gaps itself also painted with the black paints. So it's very nicely done. The entire figure looks very awesome. Now for the sculpt itself, the body looks very good. The body looks very awesome, as you can see, reminiscence to the comic itself. But the biggest praise is the face. As you can see, the sculpt on the eyebrow here is, well, irregularly large. Not like when he appeared in the comic itself, this version that he appeared in the comic, because the eyebrow is rather large, reminiscence to the old Red Skull from the 1940s, as you can see. And the bottom part here is still a skull face, rather that he looked like a human, just like in the 1940s. But the jaw itself for the sculpt, as you can see at his neck, if you look through his jaw, his mouth itself, because this entire head itself, the jaw itself, is supported literally by these two sides of the jaw. So whenever you wanted to tilt the head downwards, make sure you don't use too much force when it hits the collar, otherwise you'll bend the jaw. So you have to be extra careful on that one, because as I said before, it is supported by this two-piece here, and it's not actually very durable. But the face sculpt is very good. The articulation for this figure, you can turn the head 360 degrees, pivot the head up and down. Waist joint, well, actually the waist joint itself can go left and right, because it's hindered by the, well, ironically, the pouches on the side at the waist there. The torso can pivot downwards and backwards, and if you can hear the ratcheted sound. And the shoulder joints itself can't turn 360 degrees because it's hindered by the shoulder pads. But it can move backwards and forwards with no problem, and even raise the arms this far. There's double jointed knee, oh sorry, elbow. I must be really stoned right now. 360 degrees turn for the wrist itself, and the wrist can also bend inwards and outwards, but you have to be careful on the plastic on these two parts here, the elbow pads and the forearm pads there because it's made of soft plastic, so whenever you try to bend it, you also bend the plastic on the padding there. Fingers here can close and open, and the hip joint is among my favorite because you don't have to twist the ball joint and the swivel tie. All you have to do is just bend it like so. You don't have to do anything much, and can spread the legs all the way out like so, so you can do splits. And the swivel tie, double jointed knee, calf can actually turn 360 degrees, and the ankle here can pivot downwards, upwards, and the toe here can, well, point upwards. Suddenly I have a short moment of gap there. Totally awkward. Okay, now next we'll be looking at the bearing structure figure. Now for bearing structure here, now this is a repaint figure. The entire body itself is a repaint of, well, the Red Skull, quite obvious. Except for a few obvious changes is that the head and the glove here to represent the Satan's claw. As you can see, this figure, the thumb here is facing downwards because this is a defect figure which I got loose from one eBay seller. I'm not going to name him. Now the fingers is actually in the right position. It's just the entire thumb, this entire piece here is in a different position. Now as a repaint, okay, the colors matches up as Hydra. Okay, it looks very nice. But there are no Hydra logos. Okay, there's none on the shoulder pads or at the back. It's just quite disappointing to see bearing structure appearing, representing as leader of Hydra and not having any Hydra logo. So that's quite disappointing. The face sculpt, however, is excellent. Very good. Very detailed stuff, as you can see. I'm not too sure if you can see the scar. There's a scar here that runs through from the upper forehead down to his face here. Very nicely done. And you have this monocle, this shiny monocle, and it looks very much like in the comic version. However, the Satan's claw, granted, this part here looks like Satan's claw, but the entire hand itself doesn't, well, as you can see, if you compare to the comics itself, where does in the comic that Bearing Striker actually wore a Satan's claw that actually contains a forearm guard there? None, actually. Well, it does come with blades, some of them come with fingertip with claws, but not like that. So that's a disappointment. Overall, if I'm gonna give a rating of these two figures, Red Skull looks absolutely amazing. Granted, yes, except for the jaw is a bit, you have to be careful with the jaw. So I'm gonna give Red Skull here a good 8 out of 10. Seriously, it looks excellent. But for the Red Skull variant for Bearing Strucker here, the chase figure, it's a bit disappointing. No Hydra logos, and the Satan's claw here, the forearm piece here, there's nothing to be desired. I really wish that they do a little bit more on the body sculpt itself, maybe add 3D representation of the Hydra logo on the chest, or just add it on the chest, or paint it on the shoulder pads, but none at all. So I just give him a 5 out of 10. He looks great, but nah. So thank you all for watching, especially you, Author69. I'm Lunis05, and I'm signing off.